Hey, Marshaun, thank you so much for being here and being a part of this summit. Realign your thoughts for women who want to exude confidence in every area of their lives. So tell us about yourself. Tell us who you are, what you do, and why you decided to be a part of this summit.
Thank you so much, Shaquin for inviting me to the Realign Your Thoughts Summit. I am so happy to be here. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Marshaun Olaniyan. I am a shift to relationship strategist where I help Black Christian women that are married or in long term relationships to stop feeling disconnected and unloved and shift you to feeling heard, understood, and appreciated by the man in your life. But first and foremost, you to be appreciated and loved by yourself first. So that's who I am. That's who I help. And I'm super excited to be here. So again, Shaquin, thank you so much for having me. And I'm ready to jump in, sis. I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. Well, then, what does confidence mean to you?
Confidence means just being yourself. And I know that we hear this cliche all the time about your true, authentic self, right? But it really is the truth. If you're not confident in who you are, right? If you're not confident in your abilities, if you're not confident in your speech, if you're not confident in the way that you dress, the way that you show up, it is going to show in your posture. You might be slumping, right? It's going to show up in the way that you articulate yourself, or I should say, the lack thereof, and how you articulate yourself. It's going to show up in the type of men that you choose. It's going to show up in just even in your career, right? Because especially for those clients of mine that are people pleasers, and I'm finding that more and more people than I even realize are people pleasers, right? And so people pleasers have a tendency to have lower confidence and lower self-esteem because they want people to like them. They don't want to be on the outskirts or in their own lane. They want to be a part of the herd, which is okay to a certain degree. But when you're confident, you don't care about the herd. You make your own lane. You walk your own walk. You talk your own talk. You speak your own thoughts and you own them. You own them. So that's what confidence means to me, showing up to literally be your true, authentic self, owning your own power, owning your own queendom.
Yes, love that. So, do you consider yourself to be a confident person, and why would you say so?
Not at all. Just kidding. Of course I do. Yes, Shaquin. You know what? It took me a while to get here. In the American culture, having darker skin, a lot of people made fun of me. And so my story was I had low self esteem, I had low confidence, I wasn't sure of myself. And it's funny and kind of sickening at the same time because I never heard that I was ugly. It was always focused on how dark I was, or how dark I actually am. And so I just had to one day tell myself, Marshawn, there's nothing you can do about your skin. Yes, you can probably go and bleach it. Yes, you can take, bleaching creams or whatever. You can do some things, but the big gist of things, I'm a believer. So this is how God wanted you to look. You have to own your power. And guess what? If there are people, men, women, babies, whomever, who don't like your skin, there's nothing that you can do about it. Do you like your skin? Right. So then I literally start having to coach myself. Do you like your skin? Well, I do like my skin. Do you love your skin? Well, I do love my skin because I didn't know that I had a problem with my skin until the outsiders was telling me about me and my skin. So I just had to own myself, own my power, own my skin, love my skin, speak life into me, speak life into my skin. And this is it. What you see is what you get. I'm not a people pleaser. I'm very confident. I have very high self esteem, whether you see it or not, as the person on the outside looking in sees it or not. I know who I am and I create lanes. I don't
Mhm.
follow the herd. So, yes, I have self confidence for sure. But it took me a while to get here. It took me a
Yeah.
while to get here, but now I'm here. You can't tell me nothing.
And you said that was just through acceptance and self love.
Absolutely. Of course, I was reading books and everything, and I like to listen to people's stories and their struggles and how they powered through it. But before I even started doing that, I was just like, there's nothing that you can do about this. Like you can cry about it, you can whine about it. Yes, you can. You could do the whole woe was me. You can walk around with your shoulders slumped, but none of that sexy, sis. So own your sexy, own your power, and know that you are the bomb, whether outsiders understand or see it or not. So, yeah, self acceptance, just uh, talking to myself, you got this. You're worthy, right? That's one of the things that I'm finding a lot of people don't believe. I am enough. So, those affirmations really work for me. And I know that they work for a lot of other people. So, if that is one of your struggles, I say find yourself being silly, air quotes on purpose, right? Going to talk to yourself in the mirror, going to love on all of yourself in every area that you don't like. Some of us have roadmaps, stretch marks, right?
Mm.
Own them. That's it. That's life. That's the evidence that you've given life. I also have C-section scar. That's evidence of life.
Mm.
I own, listen. I own all my power because everybody can't do it. Everybody's not called to have seeds flowing through them, and I'm honored to do that. So that's me.
Yeah, own your power. Yes, I love that. When it comes to relationship confidence, how would you define confidence in a relationship?
Okay, so are we
In
talking
a
about
marriage, particularly, I'm sorry.
okay, okay, but are we talking about the person or are we talking about being confident while you with your spouse in the relationship?
So let's talk about being confident with your spouse in a relationship.
Okay. So one of the ways to be confident with your spouse in a relationship is to communicate. Have those conversations, especially the ones where you're feeling some type of way and or the ones that just keep coming up, those same arguments over and over and over again. This is how we build the confidence in our relationship. This is how we build the confidence in ourselves because you don't have to go along with the story or with the plan that your partner is trying to give to, especially something just feel off. I can't quite put my finger on it, but something fell off. You can't just allow that something to fall off and dust it under the rug. Can't do that because later on that thing is going to come back to bite you in the butt.
Mm.
So if something feels off, even if you can't pinpoint what that thing is, start getting silent, paying attention. If you're a journaler, journal it out, your feelings, your thoughts to gain clarity. And then also just to make you more aware of your feelings, what's actually happening in that moment, what kind of triggered you. See all these air quotes?
Mm.
Because all of these things are very important when you're in a when you're trying to create and build a healthy marriage, even a healthy relationship before you decide to get married. Because me, I was like so many people out there, so many of you women out there who didn't get the tips, tools, or strategies from my home. And it's no fault of my parents. They really only could give me the things that they already had, right? So I wanted to take it a step further and to continue to break the generational curses by learning how to truly show up, how to choose a spouse, how to have those very tough conversations and not sweep them under the rug, how to really not even argue, which is why I did the air quotes earlier, because me and my husband, we actually don't argue. We have conversations, we have adult conversations, and they can be tough sometimes, but all that screaming, yelling back and forth, and the competition of it all, you're not getting anything solved. The other person stops listening. And after a while, you guys don't even realize why you're fighting. The real reason is still under lock and key as to why you two were fighting in the beginning. And if you never resolve the real reason why you're fighting in the beginning, you're going to be stuck on a hamster wheel, going round and round and round. And guess what? Those days are going to turn into weeks, weeks going to be turning into months, and months into years. And when we hear that some people have been married for 10, 20, 30 years, right? If you're in a toxic relationship, they're just years. They're just years. If you're in a healthy relationship, in a healthy marriage, then guess what? You're like, man, this is the why you ain't married? Oh, what you mean? Why you talking bad about marriage? Why you talking bad about your man? Like when you're around and in a healthy relationship, and when you're around other couples that are in healthy relationships, they gonna set you straight. Like, listen, it's good that you venting, that you're getting this out, but I can't help you, your spouse. You got to help you, right? But your spouse is really going to be the one that answers those questions that are nagging at you. Right now, you're just venting to me. So watch who you vent to as well. Because if they're telling you to do all of this destructive stuff, or girl, I would have did, and all of the things that literally go down the rabbit hole of not solving the issue and making you more toxic, sis, you need to move on from that person. They're not for you in the sense of trying to help you elevate your marriage. They're not.
Yeah. So the key is communication, and it's really
Absolutely.
tough conversations with love.
Yes. With love, with openness, with honesty, with respect, right? With honor, but still getting your point across.
Yeah.
When you get your point across, you don't have to be nasty. You don't have to be angry. You don't have to bring up all of those uh, secret conversations that your spouse had in order for you to put the dagger in them. You don't got to do none of that. Speak with love, honor, and respect, right? The
Mhm.
golden rule: do
Yeah.
unto others as you want them to do unto you, right? And so the way that you show up, the better the message will be received.
Yeah, I love
And the
that.
faster the two of you will be able to come to a solution. And it doesn't matter that if you're the one who brings the solution to the table, be open to having a compromise if you must, because it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be your solution, right? It
True.
can be a combination of the both of you, so you're both winning, so nobody's feeling like they're losing on the losing end of the stick.
So, would you mind talking about a time when maybe you didn't feel as confident, and how you were able to really realign your thoughts?
Yeah, well, it doesn't happen too often now, but when I was, you know what? Let's just go back to the dating, because uh, before I was in my marriage, I was just struggling with choosing any man that would show me some attention, because I was in the mindset that, if I don't talk to this one, the next one probably not gonna come. So I probably got to give him some attention, even though I know something ain't right, something off. This is probably not the guy. If I don't give him some attention, when is the next person going to give me some attention? So let me entertain this one, right? In my marriage, it could have just been like, I don't know how this conversation is going to end, or how he's going to react to what I really want to talk about. So instead of going directly, right, I might beat around the bush and say something, or even be snarky, right?
Mm.
Underlying this, mumbling under my breath and saying different things, but not really doing anything to accomplish what I want to accomplish, which is really to solve the issue that I keep running and playing in my head over and over and over again. So yeah, that's the dating, but then also marriage. And specifically for the latter example that I just used, that could be in dating and in your marriage. Like when you're not confident because your past is getting in the way. And what I mean by your past is the past reaction of how he showed up, right? And so now you're like, I don't really want to argue, or I don't really want to be going through all that name calling, or whatever the scene that keeps replaying in your head. You don't want to do all of that. And so because of that, then you don't deal with anything. And you're allowing, slowly but surely, resentment is starting to just build up within you, which
Yeah.
is creating the distance anyway. The very thing that you don't want is starting to happen anyway.
Yeah. So really don't let those past emotions and experiences come up into the future, into the present rather.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
As much as possible, right? It's not going to be 100% across the board. And especially if this is a new practice for you, you're probably going to fail more than you're going to succeed. But if you continue with it, you will notice that gets easier for you to articulate the things that you want and need. And also, your spouse will be more receptive and open to having those conversations, because now you're showing up differently. You're responding versus reacting, right? You're thinking about the things that you want to say before you say them. You're talking with respect,
Yeah.
right? Just being different.
Just it's your way of being. Totally how you show up. Your way of being is
Absolutely.
so important.
Absolutely. Because listen, when even when you go to a friend, if you go to them and you just start popping out, they defensive. They defensive, right? So now if you take the same energy into your marriage and you start just popping off, I can tell you right now that conversation is not going anywhere. It was actually over before it began.
Mhm. Yeah, and a lot of times we don't think about that. Like, and I appreciate that you saying it's over before it even begins, because you don't even have the right energy to even set this
Absolutely.
up for success.
Absolutely. Yep. You've already failed.
Yeah. So what would be three things then that you would tell someone who wants to build relationship confidence? What would be the three things maybe that they should start with?
So I would have to definitely say start with working on your self love. Self love for sure. That includes self confidence, self esteem, and just speaking love into yourself. So it's, first, it's all about self, getting you together. Because if you're not together, there's no way that you can expect to build, create anything healthy when it comes to the marriage, because you're not whole. So that's the real thing. You getting whole. It's all about self, right? That's the first thing. Once we get past being whole, then, as I already mentioned this before in the beginning, is to have those tough or difficult conversations, the ones that literally can close the door on several different areas, right? Because now that energy is gone, the situation has been taken care of, or the problem has been solved, right? So start having those difficult conversations. And then the third thing is to practice, because it is a practice, those new habits and new behavioral changes in order for you to get the results that you want. So in this case, you're looking to get out of the toxic and into the healthy. The only way to change is to literally, it's still to start with yourself, but it's to start to change those habits and behaviors.
Yeah. So create wholeness of self, have
Mm-hmm.
those different conversations, and practice those new habits and new ways of being. And so,
Mm-hmm.
one of my favorite scriptures is put on a new personality. So, start to put
Mm-hmm.
on that new personality, so to speak.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, Miss Marshaun, this has been so fun. This has been very, very powerful conversation. Do you have any final thoughts for these ladies?
My final thoughts, ladies, is don't give up on yourself and walk in your knowing. And then finally, understand that sometimes the relationship and or marriage is okay to end because it wasn't set up in the beginning correctly. You're not a failure if it does end. But do everything in your power for it not to end. I get that. But if and when it is time to walk away, then it's okay to walk away. It's okay.
Well, there you go, ladies. Thank you so much again, Marshaun. I am always in gratitude when people share of themselves and their time. So it has been much appreciated. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Quinn Shay, thank you so much for having me. Wait, before I go, can I just give them my free gift?
You sure can go right ahead.
I forgot to tell you. So, ladies, you can find out if your relationship does need a rescue by going to bit.ly/rescue my relationship. That is all lowercase letters. Again, that's bit.ly/rescue my relationship. You can find out and you'll get the answer sent right to your email address. Thank you so much.
Thank you.